Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Tuesday, January 14th, 2020. If you're watching the VOD on YouTube, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you're so inclined, head on over to twitch.tv/OtakuShowboat to leave a follow to be notified when I go live Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays from 10 a.m. to approximately 1 p.m. US Eastern Time. You can do all of the social stuff through the links in the description below the video, including supporting Pyanodon's mods development at patreon.com/Pyanodon, and myself at patreon.com/OtakuShowboat. You can, of course, also join my Discord server to get access to the blueprints I use for our Factorio playthroughs. So, before we begin today with more Pyanodons, I am feeling quite tired this morning. Not quite feeling 100% great. Stomach's doing some somersaults right now, but I think we'll manage. Also, the Twitch channel now has updated panels. So in the section right below the video stream on the Twitch channel itself, there's new quote-unquote art under there with a few separated out sections. Just periodic updating of all the things, making it look I think a little bit nicer down there, making sure the information is up to date as well. And yes, officially my tip jar is officially now called the coffee pot. It's now the coffee pot. So you can start helping to fill up the coffee pot during the streams or whenever. Just it's filling my coffee pot. It's helping me keep operating because as you can probably tell, I run on coffee. So the fuller the coffee pot, the longer I can go. That makes sense, right? I do hope so. I do hope that makes some degree of sense. Anyway, as far as Factorio is concerned, let's start loading up the game and switch on over here. Let's see. So I've added a mod that was actually brought up on the Pi community Discord, which was trying to remember the name. Additional paste settings. Additional paste settings is the name of the mod that has officially been added as of today. What this mod does is for Pyanodon's mods in particular, is that it really does help with setting logistic requests in logistics chests. So when you set for your mall recipes for creating buildings and such, you will be able to have it not request like 2,000 units of steel at any one time. When you shift right click on the assembler and then shift left click on the requester chest. Yeah, by using this mod, you can now tell it to not have several thousand items get requested when you do that. And I'm also realizing I forgot to do a couple of checks before I began the stream today. I need to do really quick some sound setting things. That was step one. And that should be step two. So basically all I just did right now was make sure that ideally, everything is synchronized now and working for the audio. So, yay. Audio should be a little bit closer. I'm sure if it was off, it was mostly imperceptible, but anyway. Load the game. Play the game. That's what we need to do. So, last we left off, I was working on zinc and said, "Hey, I'll finish the zinc off screen and also probably like mod the zinc recipes because it's obscene, as well as start on nickel." Well, I've done these things, and pretty much only these things. So, last we left off, I had done a bit like put buildings down. Didn't really do the logistics, but put a whole F ton of buildings down. You know, like 120 hydroclassifiers, like 60 and 40 of various buildings. So, yes, I have gone in and I have modded these 3 recipes. They now have a crafting cycle speed of 0.8 seconds. Just for me, for my own sanity. Pyanodon has made edits that will go live with the next release of Pyraw Ores when that happens, and has incorporated some of these changes and did some balancing on zinc. Why does this feel? This feels a little wonky today. This car feels a little bit slidey, and I don't know why. Anyway, so I did that just to reduce building counts more than anything else. It's still like the same amount of stuff being processed into other stuff, just a different building count. I'll note that the method that I had originally recommended of increasing like the input and output by a factor of 5 rather than reducing the crafting speed by a factor of 5 is the better option because of modules not behaving properly at really high speeds. I don't think that has been fixed, but basically at higher speeds, there can be issues. So anytime you can do processing of more stuff over a longer time versus a fewer things in a shorter time, always choose the more over longer, just because of how the game works and handles modules. So when things are moving at very high speeds, it doesn't like it sometimes. You can end up with item duplication, basically, or I think it's duplication, or you miss out on some stuff. I forget exactly. This can pop up in particular with foundries. 1 craft per tick max. Yeah, it causes problems with tick rate. Oh god, that was timing. That was timing. I just damaged a train. I just literally ran into a train. A fraction of a second sooner, and I would have gotten hit by that train. Instead, I hit the train, which yeah, I was not expecting or anticipating that to happen today, but it happened. That just happened. So yes, the zinc is now fully set up. It's been logisticized, which isn't even a word. I've done the logistics on the zinc, and I've set up proper, or at least better spacing here for all of the stuff. And yeah, it produces ish a I think it's like 37.5 technically up to, but it's not quite that right now. I don't know exactly what is it, Mr. Helmod? Can you tell me what it is? It's supposed to be 37.5, but there's probably some bottleneck somewhere impacting things. Looks like it's possibly here, possibly on the output. Yeah, right in here, getting the byproducts off. This shouldn't be doing that. Not this far back. Because you can see this is bottlenecking. But regardless, do I need that bottlenecked output now? Not really. This should be exactly one full lane of stacked zinc. This should be one lane of stacked zinc to be 37.5 on the output. So we have output. Yay! It's doing its thing. I've got a train of zinc. Huzzah! One thing down. On to nickel. So off screen, what I've done with nickel is I've set up these requester stations. First thing, we've got borax, sand castings, tar, and coke getting requested. In the nickel area, remembering that last time it basically was just this part that existed. I extended that down, and I said that I was able fully to extend this down. I had the spacing to do that to get the necessary requests. I've set up the production of the syngas required to mine the 5 yellow belts of nickel. It is identical to zinc, and its production of syngas to mine the 5 yellow belts of zinc. So that was fully identical. And then this. And then this. Right here. This is the nickel infrastructure for processing the nickel. It's not finished logistically, and I need to add all of the power poles, and I need to add the voiding of the byproducts. So there's lots of byproducts here. It's a bit complex, but that's what we're going to be starting off with today, provided I have remembered everything that I needed to bring with me all the way over here from the mall. That would be nice if I actually remembered everything from the mall. So also going to have to note that the coke is here, because I will have to bring the coke up. For some reason, the max zoom is a little bit choppy. Max zoom is choppy today. Probably have to like restart my PC at some point. Update the graphics drivers, maybe? I don't know. It hasn't been that long since I last updated. How long has the PC been on? I don't know. How long has it been on? I can check these things. Performance. What's my CPU's uptime? 10 days, 15 hours. 18 minutes. That's not that bad. That's not that long. I've had uptime for like 100+ days. You shouldn't do that, by the way, but I do it anyway. I'm gonna put that. Okay. I want this here, and that'll let me do it. Why are these not even? Oh, I know, it's because I copied and I pasted separately. I may need to move these inserters around just to make sure that we are symmetrical. Mirrored, that's the word. That's what I'm looking for. Mirrored. Yeah, that goes away. That goes away. I'm just going to redo these inserters really quickly, and then we can get the power going on them. That means I have to do this up here as well to these. So this is necessary. Now, why do this outside of the aesthetics? Well, it's going to make the power poles easier. I think it might reduce the total number of power poles, and it'll also, you know, make the power poles themselves look a bit nicer. Assuming that I have the proper spacing of power poles. Yep, that will be the spacing we go with. Now, the bulk of what we're doing today, by the way, because you can see we're almost finished, actually. I'm almost finished with the stuff here. The bulk of what I'm going to be doing is going to be related to rayon. Ooh, joy, rayon. That will definitely be a thing. So, rayon is used for batteries. It is required for batteries. It is required for continued progression in the Pi suite. That there. Head on up. Get this here. There. 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 But rayon is going to require a lot of stuff. It's going to require a lot of stuff. In particular, lots and lots of raw fiber. And I am uncertain exactly which raw fiber recipe I want to use. So here's rayon. Here's rayon with a bit of the stuff broken out in it to get a better idea of what the inputs are. At my current tech level, if I wanted 15 out. This will change dramatically. We're going to go with a whole of 1 out at the start because I don't actually have access to the necessary method for getting sodium hydroxide, which is the slacked lime loop. The slacked lime loop for sodium hydroxide, the way that works is that it's basically power and salt into sodium hydroxide. It's basically using salt and making some stuff out of it. I think it's salt anyway. It's I don't have any sodium hydroxide here to begin with in this recipe because I'm using not the sodium hydroxide for sodium sulfate. So sodium sulfate has 2 recipes. It has the bisulfate and salt and hydroxide and sulfuric acid. In this case, because I don't have access to the slacked lime loop, I will be doing the sodium bisulfate into sulfate method to get carbonate. To get sodium carbonate, you need sodium carbonate for rayon. And you need it for other things too, but in this case it's for the rayon. I'm likely going to have separate factories for reference for various pieces here in the rayon production. I'm going to have a raw fiber plantation, and I'm going to have an area that will be making the sodium carbonate, and probably a separate area for sulfuric acid production, because screw making that locally, at least for now. But you can see here that this is a lot of stuff on the inputs. This is a lot of stuff on the inputs overall, and it's quite a few buildings. But I don't need a lot, it's just the 1 per second right now. Rayon will be used exclusively for batteries at this point in time. It's going to be needed for a lot of other things much later in the grand scheme of things. But for now, targeting this 1 per second will be fine, and then I can transition to slacked lime to get the necessary amounts of sulfate for the necessary amounts of sodium carbonate to get a lot more rayon. Now, at 15 per second, it's going to be a lot of sulfuric acid that this will be requiring, and also a lot of salt that it will be requiring. More than I'm even mining right now all the way over here. This is 80 per second of salt. It's going to be a lot more than that if I want 15 per second of rayon. Will I need 15? I don't know. Probably not. But I know that in my previous map, I needed more than what I was making, which was, like, more than one. Which was more than one. A lot more than one. Come on. There you go. Do I have enough nanobots? I think so. So I'm just getting the belt done right now. Walking around, getting the belt done. And then we'll get the rest of these power poles put in, because I need power poles and all this middle stuff. Now you'll notice here, the way that I've built this, I've got a gap here for exits. That's because these will produce a lot more than a yellow belt on their output, as currently arranged. It's a bit more. I think I'm okay doing this. Granted, there is going to be this that is slightly problematic, because I have to do that. Oh wells. And none of this has power because of reasons. Yes, reasons. I wanted to avoid doubling up on each side of a belt. I don't like doing that. That feels like I'm wasting power poles, but sometimes you have to make it look nice. Just with the length of the wires. Sometimes you have to do things you don't otherwise like. Oh, joy. Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Come on. One to the right. There you go. These stretch across, so if they're not touching any inserters, I don't need to add the one that's across, like right here. Alright, that's those, and these stretch all the way across, which is very fortunate. These are smaller buildings, that's why that works like that. Yes, give me belt. Give me all of the belt. And that should be that, all connected. Just need power up top. For these belt boxes. Yay. We did it. Just need to wrap up the belt lines. And then actually connect to the power. Turn the lights on, as it were, and add in the voiding areas because that's also going to be very important, adding the voiding areas. So let's go through this stage by stage. We go back and we look at the nickel plate block. By the way, if you want any of these in Hellmod, if you want any of these from me, these production lines, Hellmod does allow upload and download through the codes here, just like blueprints. These behave just like blueprints, so if you want them, you can go onto the Discord server and you can say, hey, give me the zinc, or give me the nickel, or give me the rayon, or give me the various things, just to have what I've put down done already. It doesn't keep the adjusted like quantities for output or input. Some of these are set to input rather than output, so it will at least give you the current recipes. Speaking of the current recipes, we have 7.5 stone to have to deal with here, as well as 15 per second of grade 1. Now, all of this will be going into this warehouse up here first. So that is the idea. And also we have 5 yellow belts equivalent of input that'll need to come in. So I'm also going to need belt boxes here. I will need this for every input, like so. That works. That works just fine. So this will be the input, and of course these need power. That should be that. Let's just turn on the lights while I'm here to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything. Any flashies? Yes, there. Always got to be at least one thing that needs power that's left over. Okay. Let's make sure all of this logistic stuff works. So there's 3 output belts from here. And I know that I have more than 1 of total output throughput. Theoretically, I could probably just combine these two and have this as the half belt, but don't think the math works that way with this current setup. So I think I'll just bring these 3 lines in. Right in here. Now, this very specifically needs to output the grade 1 nickel, if I can find it. Oh, nickel! Grade 1. Yes, that is necessary. In case you didn't know, the Deadlock's loaders, when outputting, also have filters, which it is exactly what I'm making full use of here. I am making complete and full use of this. Now, I also need to know, this will be just grade 1 in, this will be sand. So we've got sand and stone going in onto this warehouse as byproducts. Sand and stone. Now, what I could do, let's see, what was this again on the stone? 7.5. That's 11.3. The total there is greater than 15. That is greater than 15. I can void stacked stone. I cannot void stacked sand. For reasons I explained in the previous stream. Just it's the load order of the mods that causes issues there. So 75 or 7.5 divided by 5 plus 11 point something. I'm pretty sure that that value is less than 15. So I will stack. Could you, really? Could you... That's as low as I'm gonna go. Why? Alright, if I need to either way, or in this case, 3, I'm just gonna place that there. So that will be stacked stone. This must filter only stone. And this will be sand. Sand is in this category. Sand. And that'll join together. Now, let's actually do this math. 7.5 divided by 5 is 1.5 plus 11.3. That's 12.8. Yay! You may notice this little thing called gravel here at 11.3. That will also need to be dealt with. 11.3 plus 11.3 plus 1.5. Yeah, that's a little bit more than 15. So 12.8 and 11.3. That will, however, be going into this chest. And outputting their chest. It's a warehouse, not a chest. Let me think. What else? What else do I need? I need a burner line that can burn at least 12.8. Fortunately, I have a burner line of... How many burners is that? 15... Every 3 is actually 2. Divide by 3, multiply by 2. That's the approx... And then each one burns, like, I think it's a little more than 1 per second. And I will have to do a belt reversal. Nah, I'll just do it this way. Just do it this way. And I'll need 2 of these. And I will need 2 of these. Not that way. That way. Could I have shared a belt? Yes. Maybe. Would have had to offset a little bit, but we'll go with this way. This means I will need to bring my coke line up here. It will terminate, actually. That will be that. So 1, 2, 3. 10. Can 10 do 12.8 per second? I think so. Can it do it with a mixed belt of stuff? I think so. Now, note that the way that I've set this up, I have this middle one not accepting anything from the stuff that needs to be voided, because this is exclusively voiding ash that gets produced out of the other 2 burners, as well as its own ash. Because every time you void with burning, you have a chance of producing a unit of ash from whatever that you've burned. That ash needs to go somewhere. Ash can also be voided by being burned. You can burn ash, and occasionally you'll get ash from burning ash. yeah, and that has to go somewhere. It ends up in this result panel, and then that needs to go out and back into a resource. So it does need to get transported from here to here, and that's why I have these loaders that goes out and back into the same building, because this will always be voiding ash. Okay, that should... Once I connect all of this up and hook this up with one of those... Actually, can I... Why? That is what I want, right there. That is exactly the thing which I need. I think that does it, actually. I think that's actually it. I may be wrong, but I think that that's that. Just add ore. Just add ore, just add fuel. And I think it's okay. Yeah, get that powered. Oh, right. One more thing. There's always going to be just one more thing. I need... How many is this? How much? 112.5 units of the oxygen. I need some oxygen. Also, I need to get this belt run. What is this belt? Where is this belt? It is this, right? Yes, this. It is this. That's one that needs to get run. And this is... Oop. No? Oh, I know. Duh. I know. That's that belt. The coke. The coke is this belt. Oxygen furnaces, basic oxygen furnaces, need fuel to operate. So this belt is fuel. I'm pretty sure I defined that as fuel. And then this is actually supposed to be a mixed belt of borax and sand castings. So we're not done yet. I need to run the belt of borax and sand castings from down here somewhere. What line can I draw for that? Well, with this existing abutting the tracks here, it looks like I'll have to do it on the other side of the tracks. Which, that's not a jump I can make. I'll likely have to do this probably from here up. No, not that side of the tracks. That sounds like not at that point on that side of the tracks, because that's where all the signals are. Let's try to save my precious underground belts.